Hey folks, everything new under the sun. Weird things happening all around, and I have to ask, what is going on? This is a verse from Luke 21, 26. And it speaks about the last days, but woe unto them that are with child, and them that give suck in those days. For there shall be a great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. And I think we're getting to the end of the time of the Gentiles. Jerusalem has been trodden down, and we're getting near the end of the times of the Gentiles. You and I are the Gentiles, the non-Jews, of course. And then it says, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming upon the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then they shall see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and glory and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. So it kind of goes through a lot of history there, from the time of the destruction of Jerusalem right until the return of the Lord, all the way through there in the span of a couple of verses. And so you're going to have these weird things happening, men's hearts failing them for fear of things coming upon them, signs in the sun, moon, and stars. And you're going to come across stories like this, which is very interesting. And there may be a very plain explanation to it, but it just caught my eye as, you know what, that's a very last days sort of thing, with the thought of World War III, the specter of it hovering over our heads, and just strange things happening, cyber attacks, configuration file issues with all these companies that are going down, and they're saying, well, it's not a cyber attack, it's a configuration issue. Just a lot of weird things happening. So the story is a high altitude object, kind of sounds like the balloon, doesn't it? Over Alaska, shot down by an F-22 fighter jet. CH-47 helicopters deployed to recover this thing. Now, they're not calling it a balloon, which is interesting. They're not saying this is just another Chinese spy balloon. Pentagon Press Secretary, Air Force General, Brigadier General Pat Ryder gave few additional details in a briefing shortly after it was revealed the U.S. military shot down an unidentified object flying over Alaska Thursday night. When questioned about the possibility of a second Chinese balloon, Ryder said that the U.S. has yet to reach out to China over the latest object. But they're not calling it a balloon. It's very strange. The Pentagon cannot say if the object was a balloon, which is very strange that they wouldn't say that. I guess I'm repeating myself. It is sure that there were no people on board. Pentagon says it was shot down over Alaska, but it wasn't an aircraft per se. It wasn't an aircraft per se, but it's not a balloon. U.S. military used F-22 aircraft to take down the object on Friday using Sidewinder missiles. Ryder says U.S. Army, Chinook 47 helicopters have launched to recover debris from the downed object in northeast Alaska in the frozen waters near the U.S.-Canadian border. Now, I haven't seen this on Canadian mainstream news. Maybe it's there. So here's more interesting stuff. This is Caleb Howe, a tweet. It says, no sign the object had propulsion. It kind of sounds like a UFO, doesn't it? Like an alien UFO or something. It was described as cylindrical and silverish gray, and it seemed to be floating. And are you kidding me? But it's not a balloon. And it's not a fighter. It's not a jet. It's not an aircraft, rather, is what they said. It was cylindrical, silverish gray, and it seemed to be floating. Like, what? What in the world? And I just think, you know what? You're going to see more news about this kind of stuff in these last days. There's going to be unexplainable things, kind of supernatural things happening. And you got to be aware of this, and you got to be prepared for it. We know that there are spiritual forces in high places, and demons, and the devil himself, Satan, in different realms, and even maybe transiting the the heavenly realm and the earthly realm, transiting that to do whatever they do. And many suspect that there will be UFOs spotted at some point, and that will be used for propaganda. And that won't be UFOs necessarily, but it will be demons. Regardless, this is just one of those very, very strange things that you need to, perk up your ears, perk up your spiritual ears and say, what is going on? Now, again, it may come out that this was nothing but another air balloon or some other airship of some kind. But I gotta say, it certainly is strange, and you need to be prepared for strange stuff. Because if this really is something dangerous, the Pentagon may not tell you anyways what it is. They may keep it a secret. Here's another tweet by CBS News. The U.S. military used F-22 aircraft to take down an object over Alaska and use a Sidewinder missile. And this is just going back. The president, Biden, apparently gave a very quick shoot down order out of an abundance of caution. So there must have been something different about this than the balloon that they didn't shoot down until it got complete to the east coast of the United States. Scant details. The Times didn't report any information that might point to the nature of the flying object, or if it was a weather or spy balloon. A separate official quote in the report commenting on the second object to breach U.S. airspace in a week called it a fast-moving situation. So very, very strange. This is from War Monitor. Let's see, scroll down for a tweet. White House says object smaller than recent balloon downed near Alaska a few moments ago. It is suspected to be another Chinese balloon. That's coming out of the White House. But again, the military isn't calling it a weather balloon. And you would think with the previous weather balloon, if it was a weather balloon, they would come out and just admit that. I mean, what security risk is there saying, you know what, there was another weather balloon or even spy balloon, but they're not saying that. Very, very strange. And I guess I'll leave you with that comment. No sign the object had propulsion, cylindrical and silverish gray, and it seemed to be floating, according to a U.S. official. Asked if it was balloon-like, the official said, "All I can say is that it wasn't flying with any sort of propulsion. So if that is balloon-like, well, we just don't have enough at this point," says that tweet. Strange, folks. Be prepared. Be aware. Keep your spiritual eyes and ears open, and be in prayer. Be ready for the spiritual realm to be revealed. Even if this is not that, be ready for it, because I believe in these last days it will be revealed, and people will be maybe even terrified into submission to you-know-who at some point. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll leave it there. We'll see you in the next video.